Welcome everybody to a look at a Masters of Cinema release from Eureka, and it is the Valiant Red Peony. So this is the first three films in an 8-film series, starring in the Red Peony Gambler series. Yeah, I've not seen the other five after watching these three, but hopefully Eureka do release the other five because these were really rather good on the whole. Yeah, each film stars Sumiko Fuji, who was in all three films, and yeah, she was also in Big Time Gambling Boss. All three films also star in a supporting role Tomohiro Wakayama, who I've seen in 16 other films, favourites being the Lone Wolf and Cub series. Five of those six are absolutely excellent. So yeah, the first film is Red Peony Gambler from 1968, directed by Kosako Yamashita, who also did Big Time Gambling Boss. Clocks in at 98 minutes long, and like all three films, this is a Yakuza film. This also stars Ken Takakura, who was in the likes of Go-Go 13, The Bullet Train, and The Yakuza. So set during the Meiji era, Ryuko Yano is the daughter of a gambler whose father is murdered. Ryuko takes on a new name derived from the crimson flower that is tattooed on her shoulder, the red peony, and sets out for revenge. So this is the first effort, like I said, in a 8-film series. And although in terms of its execution, this isn't doing anything particularly new, it does nonetheless do everything extremely well. While the series not only features a female lead in a series that is full of violence and action, but also he was really capable at holding her own in fighting, as well as standing up for herself and others, which is worthy of huge respect. Now, granted, there were films before this that had female action roles in their leading role. Come Drink with Me is one that particularly sticks out from a couple of years before this film's before the first film in this series. But she kind of got overridden by the male lead in that film, and even though she was capable, she wasn't, the only one that was capable in that film, or she was kind of, like I said, backed up by the male lead in that film. And at the end of the day, that was not a series. Whereas this obviously is an 8-film series to have a female lead in all of them. And yeah, she really does get stuck in the action scenes, quite frankly, which is fantastic, quite frankly. And yeah, the cast as a whole is also great. The pacing is on point. The period of production is convincing. It is overall engrossing. The action scenes are well executed while being really rather nicely violent, and the character interactions are effectively done. So yeah, great start to the series, quite frankly. 4 out of 5. So yeah, then in the second film we have, which is called Red Peony Gambler: Gambler's Obligation, also from 1968. A little bit shorter at 92 minutes long. So a local Yakuza boss of a silk farming town shows kindness to the wandering gambler Oreo by letting her stay at his residence. When a rival Yakuza gang who wants to take over the town's businesses murders him, Oreo is obliged to protect his children and business. So, yeah, this is much like the first film in the way it is executed. It looks the same in terms of the cinematography. The production is as high of a quality, and yeah, the overall execution in terms of the action and the characterization and all of that is pretty much the same. But outside of the thankfully the plot is different in terms of its themes and its in terms of the way that it is puts those themes at the forefront. So instead of revenge being at the heart of its plot, which is a more than worthy theme, but it's not something that we've ever not seen before or since, we instead in this one have clash issues, which between the well-off Yakuza and the much poorer farmers who are being exploited, which is a really well done plot point, and yeah, really does help set it apart from the first film. The rest of the film also matches the quality of the prior effort, although I do feel this is more violent, which is no bad thing. So yeah, that's perfectly good in that regard. The director of that, by the way, is Norifimo Suzuki. I don't think I've seen anything from him before. Nothing did stand out, so yeah, unfortunately, I haven't got anything real to comment on that one. And then finally, we have Red Peony Gambler Flower Cards Game, which again clocks in 98 minutes long. This is directed by Tai Kaito, who again I can't remember if I've seen anything else from him before. The reason the first director stood out is because I enjoyed Big Time Gambling Boss so much that the director's name just stuck in my head. But in this film, Oreo meets a pair of star-crossed lovers as she becomes embroiled in a conflict between rival Yakuza clans. So this third film continues the series in fine form while proving to have more characterization for our lead, who has some similarities to the likes of Zatucci in that they are capable of fighting and gambling, but no matter how hard they try, they can never find love, which, like in that series, is done in a really effective manner. It also gives good characterization to the supporting cast as well, with the star-crossed lovers really, yeah, being rather sympathetic, which is also helpful to help keep the film overall engrossing. And yeah, it also keeps the positives of the prior two films with the solid pacing, excellent period production, and great fight scenes shining through in particular. So yeah, overall a really really fine series. I give all three films 4 out of 5, and therefore the release itself is a 4 out of 5 film series box set. You know what I mean. But yeah, it would have been great to have all 8 films in one release, to be honest. But maybe Eureka weren't sure how these first 3 would be received, and they don't typically put out big box sets, so would have been a big risk for them to put that out, to be honest. But for me personally, I would have loved it, as I've really enjoyed these first 3 films. So yeah, we've got a new artwork on this slipcover by Gregory Sacre, which is really rather nicely done. By the way, Ken Takakura also is in the third film, by the way, although as a different character. So, yeah, and he's really rather good in that as well, as he is in every other film that I've seen in him, quite frankly. So, yeah, the first 2 films are on their own disc, and then the third film has the disc all to itself. So, yeah, pretty cool to have them all there. Would have preferred them on individual discs, and then you could have probably put even more special features on them, but regardless, we have them as the way they are. So yeah, then we have the artwork for the first film there, and then on the reverse we have the poster artwork for the other 2 films. So yeah, there we go. We also get a nice booklet on the go as well. That's our lead there, played by Sumiko Fuji. There she is again. So in the booklet we have your cast and your credits for each film. Then we have A Flower Blooms, introducing the Red Peony Gambler series by Joe Hickenbottom. The following essay does, by the way, contain spoilers, so I'm not going to read any of it, or suggest that you read it before watching the film. But yeah, it is a really, really rather looks like an in-depth write up there. And then we got Taking a Gamble, Junko Fuji and the Red Peony Gambler series by Jennifer Coates. That does not have any spoilers in it, by the way, by the looks of things. So I can show you a couple of the screenshots so you don't get any spoilers from it. So yeah. The one problem I would say with the series I have overall is the fact that I have no idea about the rules or the stakes or anything like that really that are involved with the gambling itself. So yeah, I have no idea whether someone's won or not, or someone's about to win or close to losing or anything like that. So that does somewhat undermine the tension and what is going on. But on the whole, it's the gambling parts aren't the main focus of the series, even despite the names of the films themselves. So yeah, so each film is presented in 1080p HD presentation, from restorations of the original film elements supplied by Toei. We have the original Japanese audio tracks, which are uncompressed LPCM mono audio. None of the films are dubbed or anything like that, thankfully. So yeah, we don't have to have any extras in terms of that regard, which do tend to take away from other special features on the discs. Brand new audio commentary tracks by Chris Poggiali on Red Peony Gambler, the Mike Leader and Arne Venema on Gambler's Obligation, and then Tom Mez on the Flower Cards game, even, and then Tony Raines on the Valiant Red Peony, a brand new interview with the critic and East Asian cinema expert. And we have trailers as well, and the booklet and the slipcover to go alongside with it. So yeah, really, really solid 3-film series. 3-film release. Really do wish though that they'd release all 8 films in one go, or at least release the next 5 in one go at the least in terms of that regard. But yeah, just wish they all came out together. But maybe the other five films are a little bit harder to get a hand of. Maybe they've not had any restorations yet or anything like that. That might be what's holding them back from being released at the same time as these three. But regardless, three really rather great films, three really rather great Yakuza films, and yeah, crucially has a female lead role that she's never the damsel in distress. She always looks like she's yeah, pretty much got a hand on things. Like I said, she's great in fighting. She uses a variety of weapons, by the way, which I forgot to mention. She uses a dagger. She also uses extremely sharp hairpins, and she's also got a revolver as well. It's not often you see guns being used in these kind of films that are set pre World War II. But yeah, really good in terms of using those weapons. And yeah, like I said, she's also a sympathetic character. She's also, trying to help people out. And yeah, she's never trying to exploit anybody. And yeah, she's just a really rather enjoyable character to watch, quite frankly. So yeah, highly recommend the three films if you've not seen any of them yet. But if you have seen them, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.